Welcome back, students. Let's continue. Let's have a look at this question. Question 31. Set A has 3 elements and the set B has 4 elements. Then the number of injective matrix that can be defined from A to B. Injective matrix. Injective is nothing but 1-1 functions. So number of 1-1 functions that can be defined from A to B. Okay, is. So suppose if n of A is R and n of B is n, then the number of 1-1 functions that can be defined from A to B are n, p, r. This is true, valid only if r is less than or equal to n. That is, number of elements in the domain must always be less than or equal to the number of elements in the codomain. Then only we can define 1-1 functions. Okay. So here A has 3 elements and B has 4 elements, so no problem, 1-1 functions can be defined. So the formula is NPR, remember this formula. So the answer is 4p3. That's equal to 4 factorial divided by n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, which is 4 minus 3 factorial, 1 factorial. So answer is 4 factorial by 1 factorial, which is equal to 24. Third option. Which of the following functions from z to z are bijections? From z to z are bijections. Z to z. From the set of integers to the set of integers. Okay. So let us verify these options one by one. F of x to x cube. So here f of 1 is equal to 1, f of 2 is 8, f of 3 is 27 and so on. So this is a 1-1 function, alright, but not an onto function, because onto function means what? Every element of the codomain should have pre-image. Now the set defined is set of all integers. So if you take a look at integers, say other than these perfect cubes, other than 1, 8, 27, 64, 125, etc., other than these perfect cubes, the remaining integers, they do not have any pre-image. For example, 3, the pre-image of 3 should be cube root of 3, but cube root of 3 is not an integer. Okay, so it is not an onto function, therefore this cannot be answered. Okay, f of x equal to x plus 2. Yes, it is true, this is a bijective function. F of x equal to x plus 2, it is 1-1 as well as onto, because whatever the value that you substitute for x, x plus 2 is always an integer and its pre-image is also an integer. Okay, so it is a bijective function. And f of x equal to 2x plus 1. It is 1-1, yes, but not an onto function. Why it is not an onto function? You take one element from the codomain. I am taking one element y from the codomain such that f of x is equal to y. F of x equal to y means 2x plus 1 is equal to y. Or 2x is equal to y minus 1. X is equal to y minus 1 by 2. Now the question is, for all values of y can be any integer, then this x, is it always an integer? Need not be. Okay. So for example, if I take y is equal to 4, if I take y is equal to 4, 4 is an integer, right? So 4 minus 1, 3 by 2, which suggests that the pre-image of 4 is 3 by 2. But unfortunately, that 3 by 2 is not there in the domain. Domain is the set of all integers, right? See, if they give you R, set of all real numbers, then yes, this would have been a bijective function. Even the first option would also have been a bijective function. But now that the given set is a set of integers, so this is not an onto function, hence not a bijective function. Okay. Then look at f of x equal to x square plus 1. Clearly, x square plus 1 is not a 1-1 function at all, because you take a look at f of minus 1 and f of 1. F of minus 1 would be 1 plus 1, 2, and f of 1 is also 2. So two different elements of the domain are having the same image, therefore it is not a 1-1 function, hence cannot be a bijective function. So second option is the correct answer, a bijective function. 34. Let f from to infinity to r be the function defined by f of x equal to x square minus 4x plus 5. Then the range of f is range of f x square minus 4x plus 5 is there. I write this 5 as 4 plus 1. So this will be x minus 2 whole square plus 1. Okay. Students, as you already know, x minus 2 whole square, I can say this is always greater than or equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. For all x belongs to R, this is positive. Now add 1 to this equation. X minus 2 whole square plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. This is our f of x. F of x is greater than or equal to 1 for all x belongs to R. So the range is 1 to infinity. Okay, this is one way of solving this problem by completing the square. There is another method also by using one formula. Okay, so here this is a quadratic expression, right? F of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus. Then, okay, remember this result. The range of f of x is minus d by 4a to infinity if a is positive, and minus infinity to minus d by 4a if a is negative, where d stands for discriminant. D discriminant which is equal to d square minus 4ac. This is the formula. Okay. For any quadratic expression, f of x equal to ax square plus bx plus c, you can use this formula. Okay. If a is positive, minus d by 4a to infinity, closed at minus d by 4a. And if a is negative, the range is minus infinity to minus d by 4a. So in this case, x square minus 4x plus 5, a is 1, which is positive, so the answer is minus d by 4a to infinity. Let us see what is d. D is b square 16 minus 4ac, 4 into 1 into 5. So 16 minus 20 will give you minus 4. So the range is minus d by 4a, minus of minus 4 plus 4, divided by 4a, 4 into 1, that is 4 to infinity, which means 1 to infinity. By using this formula also, we can obtain the range. This is applicable for any quadratic expression. Next question. The range of f of x is equal to 1 by 1 minus 2 cos x. Okay. So here we need to find the range of this function. Students, as you already know, the range of cos x, is minus 1 to 1. Okay. So the maximum value of cos x is 1, minimum value of cos x is minus 1. By using that idea only, we can get the answer, because as all the other terms, other expressions in this are constants. So it is purely depending on cos x. Now, actually, when we take the reciprocal, it will be reversed. That means whenever cos x attains its maximum, this function will attain its minimum, and whenever cos x attains its minimum, this function will attain its maximum. But having said that, now that there is minus sign, there is a reciprocal, there is a minus sign. Therefore, whenever this is maximum, this expression will be maximum, and whenever this is minimum, this expression will be minimum. Minimum value of cos x is minus 1. So when I put cos x as minus 1, what do you get? Minimum value of cos x is minus 1. Substitute 1 by 1 minus 2 into minus 1, 1 plus 2, that is 1 by 3. Okay. And maximum value of cos x is plus 1. Substitute that. When I substitute cos x as plus 1, 1 minus 2, minus 1, 1 by minus 1, minus 1. Okay. Since it is there in the denominator, whenever cos x is maximum, this function will attain its minimum. Whenever cos x attains its minimum, this function will attain its maximum. So the answer is minus 1 to 1 by 3. Is the second option. Then the domain of the function defined by domain. So always to find the domain of a function, what you need to do is put value for x, check whether that value holds good or not. For that particular value of x, whether the function is well defined or not, that you must observe. So I will take x is equal to 1. Okay, put x equal to 1 here, 4 minus 1 is 3, no problem, root 3 is a real number. But here if I put x is equal to 1, the denominator is becoming 0. So whenever you are finding the domain, you need to take care of two things mainly. One is, inside the root we must always have positive quantity, or at least 0. And they should not have any negative quantity inside the root. And the other important thing is that denominator should never become 0. Okay. So now if I substitute x equal to 1, the denominator is becoming 0 here. Therefore, x is equal to 1 should not be there in my answer. Right? So 1 is not here. It's open interval. 1 is not here. But 1 is present in this interval. So this option is eliminated. And 1 is present in this interval also. So fourth option also gets eliminated. So third and fourth both are eliminated. Okay. So now I will take some other value. Let me put x equal to 4. If I put x equal to 4, this will become 0. This is numerator. Numerator can be 0, no issues. And here 16 minus 1, you get 15, root 15, well defined, no. Okay, that means 4 must be present in our answer. Okay, unfortunately it is present in both the options, so I can still say first or second, right? So you choose among first and second options. Choose those options, choose those values which is present in one and absent in the other. Okay. So if you observe closely, you look at minus 1. Minus 1 does not belong to first interval, but it does belong to second interval. So what I am going to do now is, I am going to substitute minus 1 in this expression. If the function is well defined at minus 1, then that means second option, second option would be the answer. If function does not hold good at minus 1, that means minus 1 should not be present in the domain. If that is the case, then first option would be the answer. So put x equal to minus 1. So when I put x equal to minus 1, this will be root 5, no problem, very defined. Here if I substitute x as minus 1, then I am going to get 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay. So denominator becomes 0, so that doesn't hold good. Hence minus 1 cannot be present in the domain. Hence first option is the answer. This is by trial and error. Other method is 4 minus x should always be greater than or equal to 0. 4 greater than or equal to x. In other words, x less than or equal to 4. And there x square minus 1 should be greater than 0. There it should not be equal to 0. So x square is greater than 1. That means either x is greater than 1 or x is less than minus 1. So answer is minus infinity to minus 1 union greater than 1 less than or equal to 4. Close to 4. Okay. This is the actual method. Next question. Binary operation star on r minus 1 defined by a star b is equal to a by b plus 1 is commutative, associative, etc. Okay. So we have to check for commutative law and associative. What does commutative mean? If a star b is equal to b star a, then we say that it is commutative. Okay, such questions are important. If a star b star c is equal to a star b star c, if this happens, then we say that it is associative. This is important for your POC also. In POC also, it could be a 1 mark or a 2 mark question. In CET, a definite question. Of course, for 1 mark only, as all the questions in CET will be asked for 1 mark. Okay. So now I want to know whether it is commutative or not. For that, I will check this. I find this. A star b is equal to a by b plus 1. Then what about b star a? B star a will be equal to b by a plus 1. Will they be equal? No, not necessarily. So a star b need not be equal to b star a. So it is non-commutative. It is not commutative. Is it associative? Let me check. A star b star c. A star b is defined as a by b plus 1 star c. That's it. Now, this is you imagine this as a, this as b. It looks like a star b. A star b means a divided by b plus 1. First element, right? The first element. What is that? A by b plus 1 divided by b plus 1 means in this case c plus 1. So here you are going to get a by b plus 1 into c. Now I will find out a star b star c. This is equal to a star b star c. A star b is defined as a by b plus 1. So b star c is defined as b by c plus 1. That's equal to a star b is defined as a by b plus 1. In place of a we have a itself, and in place of b we have b by c plus 1. So this will be a divided by b by c plus 1 plus 1. So this will become a into c plus 1 divided by b plus c plus 1. So observe, these two, are they equal? No, they are not. So it is non-associative, which means this operation star is neither reflexive, this is a mind reflection. This is neither commutative nor associative. Neither associative nor commutative. First option is the right answer. Next, on the set of positive rational numbers, a binary operation is defined by a star b is equal to 2ab by 5. If 2 star x is equal to 3 inverse, then x is equal to. So there we have 3 inverse. A star b is defined as 2ab by 5. A star b is equal to 2ab by 5. 2 star x is equal to 3 inverse. 3 inverse we have to find out. For that, first we shall find out what is the inverse. Before getting inverse, we need to find out what is the identity. How to get identity? Let E be an identity element, then A star E must be equal to A. A star E, A star B equal to AB by 5. So A star E will be equal to 2AE by 5. That's equal to A gets cancelled. E is equal to 5 by 2. So we got E, the identity element. Now we have to find out what is the inverse. What is the inverse of A? Let me take A inverse. A inverse. Let this be the inverse of A. Then what happens? A star A inverse must be equal to identity. A star A inverse. A star B is defined as 2AB by 5. So A star A inverse is 2A inverse by 5 is equal to E. E is 5 by 2. So A inverse is equal to 25 by 2 into 4A. Okay. So there we need 3 inverse. 3 inverse will be equal to 25 by 4 into 3, which means 25 by 12. Okay, so now let us look at that equation. We have 2 star x is equal to 3 inverse. 2 star x, A star B is defined as 2AB. So 2 star x will be equal to 2 into x divided by 5. That's equal to 3 inverse, so which we have already obtained. That is 25 by 12. Simplify this. X will be equal to 125 divided by 2 into 4 here, 4 into 12, 48. 125 by 48, which is the fourth option. Okay, let's go to the next question now. 49th question. The range of the function f of x is the root of 9 minus x is square. Okay. So you know the domain of this function. Domain of this function is minus 3 to 3. This function is defined only when x is between minus 3 and 3. Okay. So when x lies between minus 3 and 3, where does 9 minus x square lie? Okay. Where does the root of 9 minus x square lie? Right. So the maximum value, this root of 9 minus x square, this will be maximum when x is 0, and this will be minimum when x is equal to 3 or minus 3. So when x is 3, this will be 0. When x is 0, this will be equal to 3, and this is the range 0 to 3. Domain is minus 3 to 3, and the range is closed interval 0 to 3. Next question, 50. A set having 6 distinct elements, the number of distinct functions from A to A which are not bijections. So number of bijective functions. Say earlier I had told you, to define a one function, number of elements in the domain must be less than or equal to the number of elements in the codomain. Then to define an onto function, the number of elements in the codomain must be less than or equal to the number of elements in the domain. Now for bijective function, the number of elements in the domain must be equal to the number of elements in the codomain. Then only we can define bijective functions. So if A has n elements and B has n elements, then the number of bijective functions from A to B is n factorial. Okay. So if n of A is equal to n of B is equal to n, then the number of bijective functions is equal to n factorial. Then number of functions from A to B is equal to n of B to the power n of A. Okay? So A has certain number of elements, B has another set of certain number of elements. Then number of functions which can be defined from A to B is n of B to the power n of A. Okay. So here we want to find the number of distinct functions from A to A which are not bijections. Okay. So what we do is, first we will find the total number of functions minus the number of bijective functions. Total number of functions minus the number of bijective functions will give you the number of functions which are not bijections. Total number of functions is n of B to the power n of A. It is we are defining from A to A only. So n of A to the power n of A, which means 6 power 6, minus the number of bijections. Number of bijections is n factorial. Here n is 6, so 6 factorial. 6 power 6 minus 6 factorial is the answer, which is the second option. Okay. So 52nd question. The number of if A is equal to x such that x is a natural number and x is less than or equal to 5. B is x such that x belongs to z and x square minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Then the number of ortho functions from A to B. Yes. So what is here? Let us find. X is a natural number and that x should be less than or equal to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then B is x such that x belongs to z and x square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. X square minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. On factorization, we get x minus 2 into x minus 3 equal to 0. Either x equal to 2 or x is equal to 3. 2. Okay, this is good. Now, number of onto functions from A to B. Number of onto functions from A to B is, say, if n of A is equal to n and n of B is equal to 2, then the number of onto functions is equal to, we have the formula, 2 to the power n minus 2. If A has n elements, obviously n is greater than or equal to 2, because otherwise we cannot define onto functions. If A has n elements and B has 2 elements, then the number of onto functions from A to B is 2 to the power n minus 2. So 2 to the power n minus 2, in this case 2 to the power 5, n is 5 here, minus 2, B has 2 elements. 2 to the power 5 is 32, minus 2, answer is 30. 30, this is the third option. Then 55th question. This is a question from mathematical induction. Say, if you want to solve problems on mathematical induction, then where you are asked to find the sum to n terms. So then no need to use mathematical induction here. Directly by putting n equal to 1, n equal to 2 will give the answer. Okay. So here sum to, these are the terms we have, up to n terms they are asked. So what I do is I will put n equal to 1. N equal to 1 means I am just considering the first term. So if I consider the first term, I am going to get 1 square by 1, which is 1 by 1, that is 1. Now you put n is equal to 1 in all the options and check how many options will give you 1. So if I substitute in the first option is going to give you 1 into 2 into 3 by 6, 6 by 6, that is 1. So first option could be the answer. Now second option, if I substitute, I am going to get 1 into 1 plus 1, 2 by 2, that is also 1. Third option, if I substitute 1 into 2 into 3 by 6, which is also equal to 1. And fourth option, if I substitute 1 into 1 plus 2, 3 by 3, That's also equal. Unfortunately, all the 4 options will satisfy. Okay, then what to do? Then put n equal to 2. When you put n equal to 2, observe here. Here you are asked to find the sum to n terms. If the question is sum to n terms, there while putting n equal to 2, you have to consider the sum of the first and the second terms. First plus the second term, that is what you have to consider. But if the question is, see like this, then the nth term is. If they ask you what is the nth term, then while putting n equal to 2, you have to consider only the second term. If the question is sum to n terms, there by putting n equal to 2, you have to consider the first term plus the second term. But if the question is find the nth term, then by putting n equal to 2, you should consider only the second term. Here we need the sum, so putting n equal to 2 means I have to consider the sum of first 2 terms. First term is 1, second term is 1 plus 4, 5 by 3. So that will give you 8 by 3. Okay. So by putting n equal to 2, I should get 8 by 3, and that will be the answer. Put n equal to 2 here, we get first option 2 into 3 into 4 by 6. This will give you 4. That cannot be the answer because we want 8 by 3. Then in the second option, if I substitute n as 2, I am going to get 2 into 3 by 2, which is equal to 3. Again, that is ruled out. Look at third option. In the third option, if I put n equal to 2, I am going to get 2 into 3 into 2 into 4 plus 1, 5 by 6. Right? So 6 gets cancelled. 5, this cannot be the answer. Therefore, fourth option has to be the answer. Okay? It will be. You can check. Put n equal to 2, we are going to get 2 into 2 plus 2, 4 by 3, 2 into 4, 8 by 3. Okay? So fourth option is the answer. Then 59th question. If p of n is 2 by n by n factorial, then the smallest positive integer for which p of n is true. Smallest positive integer for which p of n is true. No one putting value for n, positive integers. So 2 power n should be less than n factorial. Put n equal to 1. 2 power 1 is less than 1 factorial. Is it true? No. Here 2, here 1. So that's not true. Put n equal to 2. I'm going to get 2 square is less than 4 factorial. 2 factorial. 2 square is 4. 2 factorial is 2. So this is not true. Put n equal to 3. 2 cube is less than 3 factorial. 2 cube means 8, 3 factorial means 6, 8 less than 6, not true, cannot be answered. Put n equal to 4, 2 power 4 is less than 4 factorial, 2 power 4 is 16 and 4 factorial is 24, 16 is less than 24, this is the right answer. Put n equal to 5, 2 power 5 is less than 5 factorial, 2 power 5 means 32 and 5 factorial means 120. This is also true. Further, if you take on increasing the value, for all those it will be true. So n equal to 4, 5, 6, etc. For all those it will be true. We want the smallest positive integer. So the smallest positive integer is 4. The fourth option is the correct answer. Okay. Okay, students, with this I will conclude this video. I have solved all different varieties of problems. So further some more questions are left in that assignment. So solve all those. If you have any doubts, you please ask them in the groups. Okay. So not necessary that you should ask doubts from this assignment only. Any doubts related to mathematics you can post them. So I will be waiting for your questions. Thank you.